All right, folks. Hello and welcome back. Here we are at round three, critical turning point in the game. And we're going to go over the forces. We're going to pick up some dice, do some bookkeeping. We'll go over the units again to remind everybody what's happening. We'll start off with the Knolls. Immor, the Desecrator, has been routed off of the field. He's running towards the short edge of the table. We have this archery unit. They're still in good standing. They've been up there most of the game, wreaking havoc upon the knights down below. Pack Lord Varrack was routed by Earl Guilford, but at a cost. And we'll go over we'll go over Guilford's unit in a minute. But Pack Lord Varrack, it has been routed. This final unit here of the leader left in this Knoll Warrior unit is, as you can see, multiple pins. He's routing off the table. The archers have been holding their own up on top of this butte, if you will, this ash drift uh, outcropping basalt ridge, this basalt ridge up here, and trying to hold on to this secondary objective for the Knights, which is a holy relic that they took from Redwater. And that's what's going on with the Knolls. Over here, you could see the Hall of Heroes, right? So you could see you got the ogres, the three brothers. You have all the Knoll units that have been defeated, but it came at a cost, right? So let's go over the Knights real quick. We got Sergeant Otha. He's trying to push up that basalt ridge to get to that artifact that's up there and recover that for the next scenario. We have Sir Gossett's unit here. They're pushing forward also, basically drawing fire from the Knolls. We have Yeoman Huff's unit finally making it up on top of this basalt ridge to rain arrows, an arrow storm upon the Knolls. They can wreak havoc as much as they can. Father Abuziel's doing his thing, right? He is amongst the troops, issuing his battle-hardened quotes to the warriors at hand, saying things like "Hold the line, break the wicked, and know that every step you take forward is a prayer answered." And he's doing his thing, casting righteous bolts about the field. Now we get to Earl Guilford's unit. Now they took a Earl Guilford's in the thick of it usually, as honor would dictate, as the leader of as the commander of this whole of his army. But it came at a cost. He lost his first son, Sir Goslin, the first son, the Viscount Sir Goslin. He's over here. That's Sir Goslin right here. Okay, and they also lost just this past round. They lost Sir Ulick, the Marshal of Greyhawk, is down. And we'll have to wait till the end of the scenario to see if these two recover or if they're just gone, or they're maimed or whatever, that sort of thing. So yeah, they came and lost. And Earl Guilford himself took a wound. You can see here he took a wound. And they used their honor points to have a pin. So yeah, that's this is tough. This was the last of his command, so now they no longer. One of the rules that we were using at the end of the last scenario was the Knights had the advantage of momentum, which they got 2 activations in the first turn, which was already done, of course, during the first round. But they also get +1 morale for the command for the first 3 turns, but that's gone now. So we're going to pick this up, and that's gone away. They no longer have that. He will keep his wound. They have a pin. He's used his honor points, so we're going to take the honor point off of that. We'll get over to Sir Cratch's unit in a moment. But then over here we have Sergeant Oliver's unit. He's pushing forward up this gap. Maybe draw some fire from the Knoll archers up on the basalt ridge. And then we have Sir Cratch's unit also suffered a loss. He's down at 1 knight. He's been hard pressed through this area. So, and then we have Sir Gerlig. Their unit's done, so they have to make a roll to see if they move forward. And also Sir Cratch, they used a honor point, which they can only use once per turn. That's gone. And Sir Gerlig's unit used an honor point, and that's going to be taken off from last turn. And lastly, we have Sergeant Rundle's unit. After running off the Nor, they're coming in behind on this Knoll Warrior unit to finish them off. But they have 2 pins, so Sir Gerlig unit's down, so they're going to have to make a command test to see if they're going to. They're going to have to take a. They have a down order, so they have to take a test to see if they um, are able to take an order this turn. And lastly, we have Yeoman Odo's unit, who suffered dearly trying to climb up this ash-covered basalt ridge to get up here to finally do something by putting down arrows and arrow storms on the knolls. But they had a really, really rough time the first 2 turns getting up here. And so that's it. So what we're going to do is we're going to pick up our order dice. We're going to pick up all of our order dice here, Guilford's dice. We got Father Buziel, Sergeant Ossett, Sir Gossett, and we have Yeoman Huff's units picked up. We're going to come over here to the knolls. And we have Inmore pick up his dice. We got the Knoll Archers. We have Packlord Varrack, who has been routed, went on the run. Oh, I think he keeps the run order because he's routed, and so does Inmore the Desecrator. I think they maintain their dice. I'll double check. And then we got this. So we only have 2 dice going in the bag for the archers that are up on the basalt ridge. It seems like the safest place to be. So let's take a look here. Put them in the bag. I'm going to quickly just one more breeze over the field here to make sure that I got everything. And then we'll do, we're going to do the for Sergeant Gerlig's unit, we're going to make that roll. There he is. Where is he at? Oh my goodness. I'm going to make everybody dizzy. So we're going to do Sergeant Gerlig's order test right now. So basically, they have to make a recovery test to see if their die goes back into the bag. And we have to test against their command stat. Let me find their stat card real quick. Of Walworth, he needs to take a command test. He has command 8. Now, so yeah, they have Zealous, which ignores pins when taking break test. This isn't a break test, and he can re-roll failed order test. This is not an order test. This is a recovery test. They're different. If they pass the rule, they recover. If the recovery test is passed, I remove a pin and return the order die to the bag. So let's do this. Their command 8, he has to roll 8 or under. And see if Gerlig can get his unit back in order. A 6, yes he can. Not good for the Knolls. But this goes back into the bag as indicated. And then I'm going to check real quick for the routed units and find out exactly what I have to do. Yeah, so once a unit is routed, it retains its run order from turn to turn, in the same way that a fast unit would return their run. And they're basically routed. They have to make a full 2 movement, a 2M towards the same table edge each time it moves, making any necessary diversions, of course. So all those routed null units are just going to continue to run off the table. And they don't take any part in the game otherwise. They can't confer bonuses or other units from special rolls and so on and so forth. They can be rallied if there's a friendly units nearby, and I think there's so if there's a friendly unit within 10, a friendly unit within 10 of the routed unit makes it a rally action. So we're going to go over here and see, but we can't do that yet because it's not their turn. So we have to wait in order. So, okay, so that's what it's going to be. And what we have here is these routed knoll units. These routed knoll units over here, Immor, let me get this straightened out here. Okay, Immor is routed. We have Packmaster Varrack routed, and we have this unit routed. So they retain their run orders. They're going to make a double move towards the table edge. Now, these units are within 10 inches, and they can try to, they can rally instead of taking action, and they can try to get these units back. I think Immor is on the way out, though, because there's nobody around him. So what does this come down to? It basically comes down to who gets to go first, right? And that's going to be the key. It's going to be the key here to success, because the Knolls have to pull the first order die for them to stick to get to see if we can do some rallying for Enmore and stuff. So I'm going to remove. I'm going to remove Sir Ulick, the marshal. The good marshal is coming off the table for now. I'm going to put him over here on the board of heroes until we can find out what if he's dead or if he's injured or what his story is. He's unhorsed and he's laying on the ground. Okay, so here we go. I forgot. I got to grab Yodo's dice. I see. I got everything up. That's the wound marker. Pins are still down. Double checking everything. They got their orders out. It doesn't look good because the knights have a lot more dice in the bag than the Knolls. But you never know. You never know. Also, I want to note that if any of those routed units are charged, they are unable to charge an enemy, and if charged, are automatically destroyed on contact. If the routing unit is obliged to take a further break test, it is destroyed if this test is failed. If the routers accumulate further pins and reach their automatic break level, they are also destroyed. So this is critical here. Once again, we're going to the bag, and we are going to see. Give it a good shake. Who? Mix them up here. And we got knights.
Ready to serve,
and
my
they didn't
lord.
get it. So Guilford's had enough of Packlord Varrack. He is going to run. He has to take an order test, though, as you can see. Now the good thing about this is that let's do the Ash Drift Hazard, because they're out there on the. There are a couple of the knights here, as you can see, they're not on the path. Of course, they're all mounted, so they're not all on the path. So they're going to have to make the Ash Drift Hazard. They're outside of 3 inches of everything, so that's good. Outside of 3 inches of the steam vents, but they're going to have to make a check for an Ash Drift Hazard to see if any other additional units on the field take a pin. Let's see if the ash drifts and shakes the ground and runs into small crevices. A 2. They just made it. Okay, so no Ash Drift Hazard this turn. Sir Guilford, the Earl of Rainout, has a command of 8, and they're zealous, so they get to reroll a failed order test. So the order test, let's bring that back out here. So we're looking at 8 minus 1 um, for the pin, and that's going to stay on him because of the wound. So he's going to be a command. He's going to be 7. He has to roll. They have to roll a 7 or under, and he gets to re-roll this to make this charge. A 6. He does it. No problem. All right. So they're going to be able to do their run. And what they're going to do is they're going to give an order to one of the surrounding units to hold this uh, sender objective, the crossroads, and they're charging into Pack Lord Varrack. And guess what happens here? Because these guys are routed according to the rules. If they're charged, they're automatically destroyed on contact. So I'm going to move them up. I'm going to change my position here in the table. And these guys can move 16. They're on horseback. So Guilford, the closest they can get is right to here. And this Pack Lord Varrack has been eliminated, destroyed. He is gone. Take all this off the table and move Guilford and his remaining knights, his second son, and they took a run order up. And that's it. Varrick's banner has been removed from the game. All right, that's that. That is that. So Pack Lord Varrack is off the table. I'll just double check his stat cards and make sure. Yeah, he don't get any tests or anything. He's got follow, he's wound 2, he's tough, he has command. That's it. That's it. So he's off the table. That's a big win for Guilford. That's some honor points. We only have 2 honor points left to use. And Guilford can't use an honor point to get rid of this pin because that pin's related to his wound. He can't get rid of that. So yeah, that's a big deal. Yeah, I think what I needed to do was to make those run orders stay out. And I think what they do is if they have a run order, they immediately go first. So it may not be that Pack Lord Varrack was destroyed. Let me double check that. Okay, so we're gonna probably retcon that a little bit. We're gonna have Earl Guilford move up to where he's at. At the start of the order phase, before drawing any dice from the bag, each unit with a retained run order, all these units get to go before order dice are drawn that turn. So essentially what happened here was because they're routed with run orders, they have to make their double move. So Pack Lord Varrack would have moved. What is his movement? To see, he'd have a movement of let's see, that'd be 5 for them. So that would have been 10 inches off towards the end of the table. I think what would have happened was, let's see, I'll bring these miniatures back, at least because we knew where these guys were. And Pack Lord Varrack was like right here or something. He has to move 10 inches. So 10 inches would have put him right to here. So he would have got to here. Pack Lord Varrack and his crew would have gotten to here. So we'll put them back here real quick. And these guys would have been here because I remember him being just into the ash wastes. They would have to sprint to them to get to there. So they need to make an agility test to see if they sprint to catch up to them to eliminate them for sure. So let me take a look here and see if they can pass their sprinting test. So if with a sprint they can move 3 times their movement. 24 would take them there, but they have to make an agility test. So let's do that real quick to make sure we do this right and see if either Pack Lords almost run off the table or he gets eliminated. See if they can finish their charge. If they fail this, if Lord Guilford's unit fails this agility test, they're going to take a pin. That matters, but they're definitely going to get the Pack Lord Varrack. So nothing changed in this scenario. So basically, when they moved up, but because they had a run order at the beginning of the turn, and so did this guy, and so does Immor over here, they get to go first before any die are drawn out of the bag. So these guys had to sprint to catch up to them way out there. So and they would have easily made it in the sprint. So this is all coming down to whether or not Earl Guilford's unit takes another pin or not, because they have to take an agility test or their horses become fatigued, so to speak. So this is just about getting a pin. They're still going to get routed off. They're still going to get shoved off the table. They're still going to be destroyed. But their agility is 4. They have to roll 4 or under. 5, they don't. So, okay. So Earl Guilford's unit still takes a pin. He will catch up to them, which means it's going to push them forward. I'll go move them now. So they're way beyond. So these guys are going to be way beyond where they originally were. And they're going to be roughly right about here. I mean, it's kind of irrelevant. The placement's might be a little bit off based on because I moved stuff. But Guilford's unit took another pin. That's significant. That can have implications. But these guys, of course, they're still off the table. So I just want to make sure we did that right. And while we're over here, we're going to move this unit. He moves 10 to see if he goes off the table because he's going to run order. Let's take a look here. Let's see if he gets moved off. That's a 10-inch. That's 10 inches. Nope, it's not. It's going to take him right to here with all of his pins. And then we're going to go over here to, now, Immor might make it off the table. We'll have to look at this real close. Immor down here, he has, he's got a 10 move, and I think that might, no, it doesn't. So Immor in his last of his spirit hyena is going to move him down. Immor is going to get close to the edge of the table, but not completely off. But he's routed. Next turn, he's going to be gone. Next turn, he's going to be gone because these guys are outside of 10 inches. So there's nothing that they can do unless they move off of here and try. But if they move, they can't. If they move, they can't. They can't take a. They can't take a rally order. All right, so that's that. We go back to the bag again here. Now we got that all straightened out. So, all right. So what the result of all that was that Immor was still destroyed, but these guys had to sprint. Guilford's unit had to sprint, and because they sprinted, they had to take an agility test, and they failed it because their agility is a 4, and so they ended up taking an extra pin. And then, should I do that? No, I was going to use an honor point. We only have 2 left to take away one of those pins, but we're not going to do that. Okay, back to the bag. So all of the routed units have been dealt with properly. They're still on the table, but there's nobody there to help them anymore. Knights. Okay. I think we're going to go with Yeoman Odo. Take a fire order. And they are Yeoman Odo's longbowmen. We have, that's Yeoman Huff's. Yeoman Odo's longbowmen. They have longbows, so long range is 11 to 20 inches. So yeah, And we're only going to get, let's see, he's outside of range. He's outside of range, just barely. Yeah, so only these archers here are going to be able to make the actual shot. Yeah, so we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Only these 5 archers are going to be able to make that shot. We have 5 archers within range. Now, they're up on the basalt ridge, okay? But we still have to make our normal roll for the shifting ash, the drifting ash roll. See if I can get this in frame. Yes, no. Yeah, we'll put it up here. Here, that works. Yeah, we got the ash drift hazard roll we got to make. We don't want a 1. We get a 3. They're fine. Okay, so they have no pins, so they can take their order. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 archers firing at long range, so they get +1 because they took a fire order. So they're going to go from 5s to 6s, but they're -1 for long range, so that takes them down to 5s again. And they can re-roll 1 miss. How many we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have, is that 5? Did I say 5? I can't remember. Let me see. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And they're hitting on 5s or under. So let's move this back here a little ways. Fives are under. That's going to be a miss, miss, miss. They got 2 hits coming in on them. So because they took since the Knolls are automatically going to take a pin because of the rain of arrows coming down. They duck their heads. Okay, they're going to take a pin, and then they need to make 2 saves. So their resist 7. Oh, I get to reroll 1 failed one. I'm sorry. Yeoman Zoto's they have Deadeye, the Deadeye trait, so they get to reroll 1 of these. They're looking for 5 or under. 7, they still missed. But the Knolls have to roll their resist 7. So they need to roll 7 or under, or you could take casualties. 7 or under for the Knolls. Yes, and yes. So they don't take any casualties, but they do take a pin. So we went back to the redraws because we did the runs for them, and then we did the redraw. So let's do that. Let's do this. Back in the bag. Knights, of course. Who's it going to be to go? Those guys took a fire order. I think. Let's take a look over here. I think Sergeant Oath's unit is going to try to, or Yeoman Huff. I think those archers over there. I'm going to do this because I think they have the advantage of the dice in the bag. But they're going to be, my guys might be way out of, yeah, they're way out of range. So they'd have to move. Oh, yeah, they got +1 for being on top. No, they didn't because they're on equal level. So they didn't get the pluses. So when these units are shooting each other, unless they're higher than the other unit, they're not going to get that height advantage. But I think what we're going to do is, I think Sergeant Otha's unit's going to move up onto that ridge. No, you know what we're going to do? Father Buziel's going to go. Father Buziel is going to take a move action, and then he's going to cast. But for now, he's going to move, and he is going to, where is it? My goodness. He's taking advance order. He's not going to take a run order. But before he does that, we have to do the Astrift hazard. Nope, nobody takes a pin. He's going to move 5 inches over to, he's going to move 5. We'll give him a run order. He's going to run. Okay. But he may only move 5. He's within 3 inches of this. He's within 3 inches of this. His unit's within 3 inches of this geyser. So any unit within 3 inches of the geyser must make an agility test to run or charge. But he is going to run, so it'll cut his. That'll give him a movement of 10, but it gets cut in half. He'll get 5 anyway. So agility test of 5 or less. Let's see what he gets. Looking for 5 or less to do 10 inches. Okay, he makes it. So Father Buziel is able to move the 10 inches. And of course, he's not going to move his full 10 inches. He's just going to move up onto this objective with his crew, his supplicants, and Batman, which doesn't have any effect on him. Father Buziel is going to move. He's going to run up there. And then he is going to, because he took a successful action, he doesn't need to make a roll because he doesn't have any pins. So he is going to shoot a bolt of righteous steel at this archer unit up here. So let's get them in frame. Here we go. But he needs, that's 20 inches, so he's well within range. It does 1 auto hit at D3. Let me grab my D3. D3 plus his magic level is 1. Oh, he has to make a roll. He has to roll 7 or under to do it. Okay, here you go, Father Buziel. 7 or under, 6 he does. 1 automatic hit. They're going to take a pin for that because it's an automatic hit. Now it's going to be D3 plus his magic level is 1. So it's going to be 2. Strike value of 2. But more importantly after this is they have to make a break test. Their strike value 2. The no archers have a resist of 7. Strike value 2 takes it down to 7, 6, 5. They have to roll 5 or under. They don't. So they're going to take a casualty. So they are going to take a casualty. We'll take him off the back. They will take a casualty. But most importantly now, they have to make a break test. And their command 8, the Evil Packmaster has a command 8. He's still up there. He needs to take a break test, though. The break test with the 2 pins, that's going to be a little bit of a difficult break test for them. So they need to roll a 8 minus 2 for the pins, 7, 6. 6 or under. They don't. All right. They fail the break test. They automatically take 1d6 pins, 2 more pins. That takes them up to 4, and they are routed. So they're going to take 2 more pins. They are routed now. They're getting shoved off the table because they survived, and because they have to have like at least they have to have 8 pins in order to get them off the table, but that's not what is happening here. So that unit is now routed as Father Obuzio launches a bolt of righteous steel at the Knolls in their faces. And now that unit's routed. Not looking good at all for the Knolls. Not looking good whatsoever. Okay. We put this thing on here. We're going back to the bag. Oh, I think I just knocked the Knoll off his perch. Get back up there. We have Knights. Okay, I think we're going to get some. So the Knights have this secured. They have the center objective secured. Now all they need to do is to get that. And I think what's going to happen is Sergeant Otha's unit is going to try to. They're going to take a run order to get up onto this basalt ridge. You have to make an agility test to get up there. If they don't, they're going to get half movement, which will be 5 inches, which puts them amongst them to charge them. Okay, so we're going to do that. I think Otha's going to go for it. He's looking for knighthood, man, right? He's looking for it. He's looking for the big win here to recover that artifact. This would be huge for Sergeant Otha's unit if he's able to take out them and recover this. They can't sprint up there, and let me double check because I don't think they can run either. I think they can only climb up that. I don't think they can do that. Yeah, those are considered basalt ridges standing atop these outcrops. They give +1 to shooting if they're firing downward. And they're rough ground to ascend or descend. So let's see what it says about rough ground. Yeah, it's rough terrain, so they have to make an agility test. So they can still make their movement up there, but they can only make a run. They're not going to be able to sprint up there. They can try to run up there to try to like move quickly to get up on top of there. Yeah, they can try to. They're not going to be able to sprint up there, but they can try to run. But they're going to have to make a roll for. It'll be a 10 move. If not, it's going to be a 5. Okay, so they're agility 5 because they're wearing a medium armor. So they need to roll 5 or under. They're trying to run up there. They're trying to hastily get up there. So they need a 5 or under. A 4, they make it. So they're able to engage them, right? So they're going to move up. This unit's going to move up, climb up here, fight their way to the top, and get into it with these with this archer unit up here. They pile in here, pile in their faces, fight their way to the top, right? Now, granted, there's going to be an archery. It's not pass-through fire. They call it something else. It's going to be a this Knoll unit is going to be able to get a. This Knoll unit's going to be able to get an attack with their bows as they're coming up the hill. So Otha's unit could possibly take quite a few casualties here. And that is going to be, you do the move first. So yeah, there'll be an exchange of missiles. They have their bows, so they're going to shoot down at them as they're trying to clamber up the side of that hill with speed. So both sides shoot, and they have spears, but since they're climbing, they're not going to be able to use their spears. And I don't think their spear. It can be thrown during the exchange of missiles, but because they're using both hands to climb up there, and their spears, maybe in one hand they're trying to clamber up there, they're not going to be able to take part in that. So I'm not going to let the Knights do their exchange of missiles with the spears. I'm only going to let the Knolls do it because those guys are at a serious disadvantage getting up there. They're not going to get the aim shot because they're not doing a fire order. They're going to be -1 for the exchange of missiles. So their accuracy for the Knoll archers, is 4. Because they're shooting an exchange of missiles, they're going to be -1. So they're going to be the 3, but because they're up on the basalt monolith or the basalt ridge, they're going to get a +1. It takes them back up to 4s. Right now they're sitting on 4s. So they're going to be shooting on 4. They're going to be hitting on 4s. And they're all going to get a shot. So let's take, we got 1, 2, 3, 4. We got 5 archers up there. Let me get their dice. Their agility 5, or I'm sorry, accuracy 4. So they were 4, -1 for the exchange of missiles, and then +1 because they're up on top. So we're looking at 4s or under. We have 1 hit, 2 hits, 3 hits. Okay, there's 3 hits. So Othi's unit's going to take a pin. We're going to do that right now. Give him his pin. They get a pin. Okay. They're going to have to make some saves. All right, their resist 7. And the sergeant, Otha himself, he's tough, so he can reroll a field. So we're going to give, and let's do this with the dice. We're going to give, the red die is going to be for Sergeant Otha. And then these are going to be for 2 other guys. He gets to re-roll that. And we're looking at resist 7 for the spearmen, for Otha's spearmen. So we're looking for 7s or under. Good, good, good. They all make it. So they don't suffer any casualties, but they did take a pin from that attack. The bows don't have a strike value, but they're up there. And guess what happens? Sergeant Otha's spearmen make it up there without taking maybe a couple nicks in here and there, but nothing worthy of note. And I'm going to pull this back here because we got a combat coming on. I'm going to move this banner over to here. And we're going to put our dice tray here because Otha's unit is going to fight. Sergeant Otha's unit's going to fight those archers. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spearmen up there. Yeah, spears are strike value 1, so they're actually just strength 5 with the spears. Strike value 1 takes away from their armor. So we have 5 coming in. Strength value of 0, so we need 5s or under. Missed, missed, and missed. We have 2 that came in. All right. And the Knolls have no archers have a resist of 7. They have now a resist 6 because of the spears of strike value 1. And we'll just give 2 to arbitrary. Let's see. On a 1, it's the leader. Oh, the leader takes 1. Okay, let's get the die out for the leader. The red one represents the leader. Okay. They need, what did I say? 6 or under. 7s -1 for strike value 1. 6s or under. Makes it, and they lose 1. They take 1 casualty. So they're going to lose 1 archer. And they're going to take a pin for that casualty. Now the Knoll archers get to fight back on that. Because they do have swords. Strike value 1, strength 1. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 Knolls. Strength 6 with their swords. So there's 6 or under. That's a 10. That's a miss. That's a miss. That's a miss. So they hit once. They hit once. And the swords are strike value 1 with them. So because they're strong, pretty strong creatures. So we have a resist of 7 for the Sergeant Otha's unit. -1 for the swords gets them a 6. They have to roll 6 or under and lose a retainer. No problem. Well, you know what this means. They make it through that, but who has the more pins missing? Well, the Knolls lost. The Knolls lost the combat, so they have to take a break test. Yep, so their command stat for the Knolls is, with the leader still there, is an 8. Modified for the pins, 6. You have to roll a 6 or under on a d10. 2, they make it. They passed. There's no further effect. Okay, now, do the knights want to continue the combat? And I would think they would. They both survived hand-to-hand fighting. The winners can decide to continue the fight instead of consolidating, which is what they're going to do, because they're going to try to recover that artifact. They're going to get them killed or off of that basalt ridge. So we're going to fight another round. You can only do one additional round of follow-on combat. Then you have to consolidate. So the foot knights are going to go. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just like we did before. They are strength 5 with those spears on the Knolls. Hit, hit, miss, miss, miss. Once again, they get 2. The Knolls have, the spears are strike value 1. They resist 7. Let's see if it's the leader. A 1's the leader. No. So it's going to be 2 regular Knolls. Strike value 1. Resist 7. 6. Yeah, they're going to need 6s or better. The Knolls are going to need to roll 6 or under. Not better, but 6 or under in order to survive. And they do. They don't take any casualties. The Knolls fight back. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here we go with the Knolls. The Knolls fight. They are strength 6, 6 or under with the swords. Hit, hit. Oh boy. They hit with everything. This might be, Oath's unit might get taken down. Okay. So everybody, let's see, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see if on a 1, Oath is targeted. No, I'm going to decide that Oath is going to take 1. So Oath, this will be Oath, he'll be blue. All right, but they are resist 7. They resist 7 and -1. The resist is 6. 6 or under. Oath can re-roll his because he's tough. 6 or under is what they need to survive. Otha makes it. He makes it. We have 1 knight that took a wound. Okay, so we're going to lose. They're going to take a pin. They're going to take a pin. They're going to lose a guy. Ouch. And guess what? 2 pins each. That's the follow-on combat. But now, if both sides have the same number of pins, then both are defeated and both must make a break test. So both units got to make a break test. So we'll start it off with, let's get this big thing out of the way. Let's do the Knolls break test first. And the Knolls, we'll move this up a little bit so we get a little better view. So the Knolls break test is going to go. And let's see. They are command 8, 7, 6. They have to roll a 6 or under. A 7, they don't make it. Okay, so they're going to take D6 pins. 4, 5, 6. That's going to take them up to 6. 6 pins on the Knolls. And they're routed. I'm going to put their pins down here so we'll know. 6 pins on the Knolls. I'll put their pins down there. There's too many. But more importantly, they're routed. Okay, now the Oath's group has to make Sergeant Oath is command 8. They're also at 6s to see what's going to happen here. So they're command 8 -2 for the pins at 6. Let's see if he does it. This came down, but they were really hammering on each other up there. 6s, they need a 6 or under. Look at that, a 1, a 1. Couldn't have done any better than that. Oath's unit stands tall. They took a beating from these Knolls when they got up there. It was incredible. That's an honor point if I ever seen one. Them guys are on the run. The Knolls have to get this out of the bag. They take a run order and they are going to run 10 inches. They have to make an agility test to run. We'll get their run order out here. They need to make an agility test. They make an immediate 2-move run directly as possible towards the edge of the table. Jumping down does not require an agility test. They just jump down or clamber down quickly. Climbing up requires an agility test. These basalt ridges. Okay, so they're going to move 10. And I can't remember if I rolled a d6 for Sarge's unit. Sergeant Oath's unit for the drifting sand. We'll do that now. No, nobody takes a pin for the sand. I may have done it already, but that's okay. So I got to move them 10. They're routed off. They're routed as well. I think the writing's on the wall for these guys. Where is the closest knoll? So we'll go. Here, let's do it this way. Dropping down don't cost anything. So we'll move them 10 inches roughly to here. Put these guys back here. They are routed. And I think this may just do it right here because there ain't nobody left. Come out of there. And then Sergeant Oath's unit is going to consolidate and they are going to plant the banner. They lost a guy though. It was not without sacrifice. They secure that secondary objective. Okay. Victory for the Knights. The Knolls, they just couldn't get it together. That's typical for chaos, right? So Father Abuziel sees that and just is like, justice marches with you. Do not unrun it. And do not lag behind, he says to them. Okay, back to the bag. There's much left. I think we only have one null unit left. Okay, well, I'll double check on that and come back and chart some stuff up, and we'll continue. Catch you in a bit. All right, welcome back. Everything's charged up. We are in the second half of this round, and the Knolls are in full retreat. So, by the looks of things, we'll give a quick overview. We have Inmore way over here. Inmore is routed and going to be off the table eventually. Guilford has defeated Varrack, but has advanced into the Knoll side of the table. We have what's left of this Knoll unit, which is routed. This archer unit is routed. Sergeant Otha has taken control of the artifact that was stolen from Redwater. We have a routed. Now, one thing, these guys were routed whenever they got shot at with the bolt of righteous fury from Father Abuziel. So, bolt of righteous steel, I should say. And they routed them from that. They failed that order test. They also have 4 pins. They're routed. I didn't move them, so I have to give them a move off of this basalt. They have to move 10 towards their side of the table. The only unit of Knolls that are left is this poor unit here, who are in dire straits. They're between Sergeant Rundle's unit, Sergeant Gerlig, Sergeant Crash, looking at this thunderous heavy horse charge on them. Sergeant Oliver's is holding up by this geyser. Yeoman Odo's over here, just raining arrows as needed. Yeoman Huff is here. They haven't even gone yet. Sir Gossett's over here on the table, securing the right flank. And that's about it. So yeah, we're moving into here, and it looks like the Knolls this is a complete rout, complete destruction. But we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. We will see in a moment from now. What I'm going to do now, though, is I'm going to move those archers off of this basalt monolith towards their table edge. So we're going to get that set up here. Let me take care of that. They're going to move 10. They can jump down off the basalt monolith. It's climbing up. It's the problem. So we only have one order die left in it. Okay, so let's move them 10. Let's get this stuff out of the way. So that's going to be 3 and then 6. That's going to take them roughly to here. They jump down there in full route. What's left of them? With their pins, not that it's going to matter. They get a run order, and they get that there. Okay, so then we go back to the bag. Let's pull this back a little ways. And get the bag out. There's only one more knights. Well, I think what's going to happen here is Sir Cratch. Pull this back because I might need to. Sir Cratch is going to charge this unit before Sergeant Rundle and Sir Gerlig steal the glory from the battlefield, right? So they're going to take a run order. Now let me see if they. Oh, before they do that, they have to make their. They're going to make their ash drift hazard roll. D6. Look, don't look. If you get a 1, somebody gets a pin that's out here in the ash waste. A 5, they're fine. There's no pins to be distributed. And I think they're within 3 inches of. They are. They're within 3 inches of that geyser field, which any unit within 3 inches of a geyser vent must test their agility to run or charge. So they're not going to use any honor points this turn for anything, but they are going to be lanced up and charge in. But they're going to make a. Either way, I think they'll get there by. So they're fast 8. So either way, they're going to get there because they're on the run. They're going 16. But if they don't make the roll, they're going to. If they don't make the roll, they're still going to make it. So instead of moving 16, they're going to move 8, and 8's going to be more than enough to get them in the roll. We'll check it because Oh no, it says any unit within 3 inches of the geyser must test agility to run or charge. So that's not, they're not going to, they won't make it there, but they have to roll under a 4. Yes, they are. They're agility 4. So they have to roll 4 or under. They can't get this charge. They do. They make it. So they roll 1, and they're able to make their charge. So they're going to run up into this null unit. Thunder's charge right into their faces. Look out. Okay. That is that. And now we have, yes, the no worry unit. They're tough. Well, the no Packmaster is tough. They have axes, they're strength 1, and they're lightly armored, as you can see with the shields. The axes give them strike value 1 and strength 1. So, Sir Cratch, however, we have 3 knights. We'll put the knights in here. Let me see, where can I put this? Yeah. Let me bump this back a little ways so we can get the rolls in. So we have 3 knights and 3 war horses. The knights they're charging, so they're going to get +1 for the charge to hit, and they don't get a strength value for the lances, so they're 5s to hit. So are the war horses. They're 5s to hit charging in. They get +1 for the charge, gives them a 6. So they're 6 and under. Okay. We're looking for 6 and unders for the war horses and the knights. Knights are the blue die. 6 or under. That's a miss. Hit, hit, miss for the one horse. 6 or under. These 2 hit. Now they get the war horses get a strike value of 1. So, and then the knights get a strike value of 3 because they're using their lances, right? So we'll do the war horses first. Strike value 1 against this unit. They resist 8. They resist 8. Those knolls. So they got to roll 8 or under, or with the strike value 1 from the horses, they have to roll a 7 or under. They do it. The war horses do nothing to them. The knights, however, are a different story. Their strike value 3. So 8, 7, 6, 5. They have to roll 5 or under on these or take lance damage. They do. So the knolls hold up against that charge. They do good. All right, now it is the knolls' turn. Here's the 5 dice for the knolls attacking with axes. Their strength 5 normally. Their strength 6 with their axes. So let's see what happens here. They have to roll 6s or under. That's going to be a miss. So they did hit 4 times. The knights are resist 9. Oh, well, here we have 4. So we have to give 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll give, here's 1 to each knight, 1 to Sir Cratch, and we'll give the extra 1 to Sir Cratch. So I'm going to switch out these dice. This one will be Sir Cratch. Okay. So let's do the 2 knights first. Sir Cratch of Furiandy. So we'll do Sir Cratch first because the reason is he's tough. So what that means, of course, is that he gets to re-roll a failed roll. He is tough. A failed resistance. So we're looking at 9s. -1 for the strike value. The axes gives us an 8. He needs Sir Cratch needs an 8 or under on both on these. That he can't roll. He's going to take a wound. He passes this one, and he doesn't get the reroll on that because that's a 10. Looks like we might lose Sir Cratch. So Cratch, and then the two knights. The knights are resist 9. -1 gives us an 8 or under. They have to roll an 8 or under against the axe attack. 8, and they do it. So they're good. But Sir Cratch looks like, let's see, can anybody help him? Let's take a quick look. Sir Cratch of Furiandy is tough. He's fast 8, warhorse, heavily armored, heavily laden, but the warhorse eliminates the heavily laden rule. And he is zealous. And there's no units near him to help him. It looks like we're going to lose Sir Cratch. Sir Cratch of Furiandy. Sir Cratch is down. He does not have a wound. Sir Cratch, the hero of the geyser fields, the hero of the basalt ridges, the hero of the ash drifts, has fallen valiantly in battle. He is down. Okay, that's going to take and give. Sir Cratch's unit gets a pin for that loss. Both sides have now the same amount of pins. We're going to put Sir Cratch over here. We're going to make rolls for him. Sir Cratch is out. We need to make rolls for a combat that has ended with both sides essentially losing. A draw. If both sides have the same number of pins, then both are defeated and both must make a break test. All right. So we take the break test and we have to use the command values subtracted for pins. Let's see what happens. Now, like I said, Sir Cratch's unit is zealous. They ignore pins when taking a break test. So we'll put this over here. Let me see. Can you see it? Where is everybody? Yes, yes, yes. Let me tilt this camera a little bit this way here. There we go. So we'll do Sir Cratch's unit first. They ignore pins, so they're going to ignore that pin when taking the break test. So, and they are, because Cratch is down, their command 7 only. 7. So they have to roll a 7 or under. A 7 or under for Cratch's unit. A 1, they pass easily with a 1. Now the Knolls, their command 8, because the Evil Packmaster is still among them. They're -1 for the pin. So they have to roll a 7 or under. An 8. They don't make it. They don't make it because of the pin. So they're going to take an immediate D6 pins. 5. That's going to give them 6 pins. Oh my goodness. They're failing everything. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 5 pins. They don't even. The saddest thing is they were the only unit left with a Dynaback. They're going to take a run order, and they're fleeing the field. All right, so we're going to go right to that. Sir Cratch accomplished what he wanted to do, but it cost him his life. Sir Cratch gave his life to push the last unit of Knolls off the table. Remember this. Valor is not the absence of fear, but the will to strike despite it. Sir Cratch goes down. We'll see what happens with him if he's permanently gone or what. But I got to go move these Knolls real quick. They're moving. They're in full route. They are in full route, and they have to move 10. So they have to be outside of this unit. So I'm going to pile them in over here. They are routed too. That's it. I think that spells doom for the final bull. The final bell, I should say, has tolled for the Knolls. There's nobody to help not unroute these or rally these guys. They're like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2 more pins and they would have been eliminated. Every unit's on the run. I think this game will be concluded. I think with that, we'll give a quick look over the table here, and then we will make a final assessment of what's happening here. But all of the achievements, the Knights have done what needed to be done. Right? So let's take a quick look. We have every unit of Knolls are routed. They're routed. They're routed. They're routed. Packmaster Varrack's destroyed. He's routed. Those archers are routed. They're all in full retreat. The Knights have Sir Father Abusal has secured the crossroads with prayers and benedictions. Sergeant Otha has secured the holy relic above, and that's about it. So we're going to go into the finality of this scenario here and see who survived what in this. These were the Knights that we lost. We lost. Sir Cratch of Furyenby is down. Sir Cratch of Furyenby is down. There he is. He's down. We lost, more importantly, we lost Earl Guilford's unit. We lost Sir Ulick, the Marshal of Greyhawk. He's down. We also lost Sir Goslin, the first son of Sir Guilford, the Earl's son, his firstborn. His firstborn is down. Let's see if he survives. And of course, also in Sir Cratch's unit, we lost Sir Arnold. Sir Arnold. Honorable Sir Arnold, Knight of the Watch, who's passed out of these two. So we lost a total of, looks like, 4 knights here. And that's a big deal, man. And that makes up we still have a scenario to go. Let's see what happens with them, though. We have to make a couple rolls. We ended up using most of our honor points. We only have 2 honor points left out of this entire combat. We earned a couple this run. Sir Cratch's unit earned some honor points, Sergeant Otha, but they're not knights, so I'm not sure. I have to go back and take a look at my honor point system, but I think only knights on the field can earn honor points, but I'll double check it. And this is another sound defeat of the Knolls, and this time they've been completely dispersed because Varrack has been eliminated. Let's take a look, see what's going on before we move into the next scenario. And the Knolls seem to be running northeast, right? So they're headed towards, as you can see over here, they're headed towards White Plume Mountain. So this is sort of an organized rush towards White Plume Mountain. So we'll see what's going on here in a minute, but let's see if our guys survive or not. Yes, so any normal knights that were killed, we also lost another knight. We actually lost 2 knights. We lost 2 sergeants out of all this too. These guys are permanently gone because only leaders and knights get to re-roll, get a roll to see if they come back. So he's gone. A Shieldland Spearman's gone, Sergeant Spearman, and a swordsman is also gone. They're gone. So this is the knight's losses totaled here, which you can see here. That's our night losses. But as we go to the injury tables, leader, injury, and recovery tables, we have to roll. It's a D6 roll for this. Let's see what happens here. Let's see if everybody can see that. We'll do Sir Cratch first. This roll is going to be for Sir Cratch. Let's see what happens here. A 3. Sir Cratch suffers a lingering injury. So this is him. Sir Cratch suffers a lingering injury. The leader is fit to fight, but suffers a temporary penalty in the next battle. -1 to his command, and -1 to one chosen stat. Move, shoot, or fight. After that battle, the penalty is removed. So for the next scenario, Sir Cratch of Furiandy will have a lingering injury, but he's back. He can fight, but he's be at -1 command, and then we have to roll. He's gonna be -1 to his command and -1 to his stat, and we're gonna roll D3 for that. So 1 will be move, 2 is shoot, and 3 is fight. Let's see what he gets. 3, -1 to his command, -1 to fight. So Sir Cratch will be -1 to his command, -1 to his strength. But he's back. I mean, he survived, but he's badly wounded, of course. He's suffering. So now we're going to move on to Sir Arnold, Knight of the Watch. Here's his D6 roll for his injury. Uh-oh. Well. Look at this. 6. The leader not only recovers, but their brush with death stiffens morale. The next battle, they gain +1 command for the first turn. Or they can get all friendly units within 6 inches at deployment, remove 1 pin token. Well, they'll start out with no pins. So they're going to get the +1 command for the first turn. So he recovers the Knight of the Watch. He's +1 command for first turn. So it looks like the -1 to command, because Sir Cratch is injured for the first turn at least, won't apply, but for the rest of the battle it will. Well, that takes care of them. And there's those guys. Now we move on to the more important figures here. Nah, I'll just use those ones, I suppose. Okay. So it takes care of these guys. Let's move them off. Pick this up. We're going to go with, next up, Sir Ulick, the Marshal of Greyhawk. The Marshal of Greyhawk. Let's see what happens to him. 5. He's recovered. The leader returns fully healed with no penalties or lingering effects. So he's back. He's back with the 5. And last but not least, we have Sir Gauzan, the first son of Earl Guilford's firstborn. Let's see what he gets. A 2. He has been grievously wounded. He survives, but will miss the next battle. Additionally, I have to roll a d6. On a 1 or 3, the leader suffers a permanent injury. On a 4 or 6, they fully recover afterwards. So, he's going to be out for the next round. He's out for the next round, and I got to roll again on the permanent injury table. I have to roll a d6 to see if I roll. On a 1 to 3, he's going to have a permanent injury. No, he doesn't. So he's going to miss. He is going to miss. Sir Goslin's going to miss. He's a Viscount, by the way. He's going to be out for the next scenario. So he'll be out of commission. And lastly, we have, what did I do here? Yeah, so we're good. This is good. So he's out. He's going to come back. All right, so let's put him over here. He must have just got knocked off his horse, the Greyhawk. Sir Ulrich, the Marshal of Greyhawk, he must have just got unhorsed. He survived that. As you see him riding back to his unit, right? Goslin is out for the next scenario. These guys are back. Injured, but they're back. They made it back. So they'll talk a little bit about it. Now, these two men have passed, unfortunately, and we'll give them a moment of recognition here. Father Buziel. We'll put these guys here. We'll move Father Buziel down here. They placed the banner of the Shieldlands here. Father Buziel says a short prayer. Once again, he says, "Brothers and sisters of the shield, stand firm and still your hearts. These warriors did not fall in darkness or in doubt. They stood where steel was needed, where law was tested, and where honor demanded its price. In the name of Heronius, they met the enemy face to face and did not turn aside. Know this, the invincible eye does not wander. He saw their courage when the line broke. He heard their vows when fear pressed close. He measured their deeds, not by victory alone, but by faith kept and dutifully fulfilled. Let no one say they are lost. They have taken up their watch in the halls of valor, where the just marshal their hosts, and the worthy rest between battles yet to come. Their arms are unburdened, their wounds are healed, and their honor stands unbroken. By valor we stand, by honor we endure, and by justice we prevail." And these men, at least one of them was lost taking that basalt ridge for the holy relic. So that's going to hold a special place among the Shieldland people, especially the people of Redwater, with that relic. Now, what was the relic? So what are we talking about up there on the hill? What was the relic? So the primary objective of both sides was that they have at least one unit within 6 inches of the main marker, which is the center of the table, and no enemies within 6. They've achieved that. Secondary objective for the Shieldland Knights was to recover the Holy Relic, which they did. So they were supposed to take an ambush order, testing if pinned. They were pinned with success. They can pick up the objective. To fail, they'll go down. But the thing is the unit that was up there with them have routed, so it's a sure thing for them, just a matter of time. The Knolls had to take the center objective, the same way the Knights did, but they had to also go on to Yamanoto's assault monolith and place a blood moon, mark the rocks in blood as a ritual up there, and they were nowhere near doing that. The major victory will go to the Knights. They control the crossroads, and they completed their secondary objective. So what the Holy Relic is the Sun Shard of St. Arnd, an ancient fragment of polished sunstone once carried by a paladin of St. Arnd during the Battle of the Fiery Fields, lost a century ago in the White Plume Badlands. Okay, so we're going to move this over here to White Plume Badlands. That's what that Holy Relic was. Let's get a little bit closer here. Take a better look. Okay. Lost centuries ago in the White Plume Badlands. It radiates unwavering courage. Knights believe it was originally part of a larger devotional icon shattered during the Iridian Crusades. The relic is housed in a brass and silver reliquary, the, uh, the size of a fist, carried by a chosen knight once recovered. Okay, so as for gameplay for next scenario, it's a unique holy item. It's only can be held by a knight. Must be a knight, a knight commander, or a paladin type hero in the Shieldland Warband can control that. Cannot be carried by cavalry mounts or war horses separately. Okay, it has to be carried by the rider. So, what is its effect on for the next scenario? The effects are going to be this, real quick. Aurora of Unbroken Valor. All friendly units within 6 inches of the bearer gain +1 to command and may re-roll their first failed morale check once per game per unit. This Aurora represents the relic's ability to rally determination in bleak lands like the White Plume Badlands. The second thing that it does, Saint's Aegis. Once per turn, the bearer may ignore 1 pin immediately when it's received. This stacks with other abilities but cannot be used more than once per scenario. The Sun Shard Judgment, a melee blessing. The bearer gains +1 attack on the first round of melee each time they charge. This bonus applies only to the bearer, not to the unit. So whatever knight's carrying it, they get +1 attack only, not the whole unit. And Burden of the Relic. The relic is weighty and revered. The bearer's unit cannot run, may still advance, charge, and fight normally. Suffers -1 to agility. They can advance, charge, and fight normally. Who's going to get the relic? Who should get the relic? Let's take a look. Well, while we're on the subject here, let me pull my knights over here. Let me go over here and I'll pull some knights down. We have to go over honor points. Honor points. Sir Goslin is out of action for next scenario. Let's look at Earl. Earl Guilford, we don't need this anymore. And Father Bozio's up here. We can take his die too. We don't need that. And then we have Sir Cratch's unit. Let's bring Sir Cratch over here. We could take this objective off too. Sir Cratch's unit, who fought valiantly during. Sadly, Sergeant Oath's unit, right? Sergeant Oath's unit up here on the Basalt Ridge, who actually recovered the relic. None of them are knights, so there's the relic. Here's the relic. Sadly, though, they're not going to be able to bear that relic because they are not knights. They are not knights. They're not yeomen, but they're sergeants. So who is going to bear the relic? Let's see. We're going to go through. We're going to look at honor points real quick and see if we've earned any honor points. We only have 2 honor points for the whole crew. So let's see what we got. Let's move the banner over here. Get that out of the way. Okay, let's take a look. We have earning honor points. My table says a knight, hero, or leader issues and wins a duel or single combat challenge. That did not happen. A cavalry unit successfully charges, destroys, or routes an enemy unit. So we had Earl Guilford's unit charge and rout Varrack. We had a couple of those, so you only get rewarded once if you did it once. You don't get 2 points every time you do it on the thing. So we're going to get 2 honor points for that. That's going to take us up to 4. a knight model slays a. Well, we didn't do a knight model. We had a whole unit do it. So a single knight model that slays a monstrous creature gets +3. A knight or hero holds alone against 2 or more enemy units for a full turn. That didn't happen. Any shield land unit saves a friendly unit from being charged by charging. That didn't happen. A half strength unit completes an objective. No. A leader successfully rallies 2 or more units in 1 turn. No. And then there's acts of sacred duty. Destroy a unit aligned with or demonic chaotic forces. We don't know if Varrack was. Earl Guilford doesn't know for sure if if he was aligned with the demonic or chaotic forces. Not yet. Protect a civilian, a relic, or sacred target. They'll give them +1 because it was a non-knight unit that did that. They'll get 1 honor point for that. Give that to them. Unit fights on despite being at half strength. That didn't happen. Oh yeah, that didn't happen because Sir Cratch didn't lose their last. Sir Cratch didn't go down to the last battle, so they were always 3 up. They weren't at half strength. A knight refuses to retreat or voluntarily takes disadvantage to hold ground. Okay, that's it. And they didn't lose any honor points. So that's that. So we go up to 5 honor points for the next scenario. As you can see over here, we go up to here. We get 5 honor points up from 2 to 5. And I'm going to straighten up the table, clear these units off, and prepare for the final scenario, the final White Plume Mountain scenario. And it's going to be very, very interesting. I'll have a narrative at the beginning of the scenario, maybe shortly after this, of a small introduction to the finale of this campaign, this campaign season, you would call it, and we'll go from there. But hope you enjoyed it. I was a little disappointed with the Knolls' performance once again. They just didn't make the rolls when they needed to, and these charges of these knights that's decimated the Knolls. I mean, they lost people, and they took some penalties for that. But overall, like the ogres were a little bit disappointing. They got routed off the table They got destroyed pretty quickly. But you got to make the rules, right? It's all about the dice. The knights have a little bit of advantage because they have an honor point system, but um, it's not unbalancing. I don't think it seems it seems that way from the outcome, but the honor points didn't really play that much of a part in the Knolls. Just weren't making their rolls right. Their archers were in great shape. They were up on these basalt monoliths the whole time, and the knights were taking pins for the ash drifts. But the Knolls up on those hillsides, they those basalt ridges, they couldn't get it done. They just weren't making the rolls, and they're not known for archery anyway. They go bad. Their eyes ain't that great. And Imor was a disappointment once again. He's more of a coward. He fled he fled off the table before he can get any good hits in on the knights. And the trebuchet or the catapult, the rock thrower that the Knolls had, that got routed off the table pretty quick too. They're kind of brutal, the rules, but then again, if they get a shot off with the rock thrower, that's devastating. So Father Abuziel, I think it was him that did it. He cast the righteous bolt over their head. And they fled, and like if according to the rules, if they're routed, I think they're just eliminated off the table. I think that's what it said. But you know, it's that could have been devastating for the knights, especially the mounted knights. But anyway, hope you enjoyed this one. We'll move into the next scenario. Before I do the next scenario, I'll do an introduction to it because it's the final one. A little bit of a build up to it, and we'll go from there. Welcome to Greyhawk. Welcome to White Plume Mountain. Welcome to it. Welcome to the Shieldlands. Next fight will take place at the foot of White Plume Mountain.